everybody? Welcome to episode 18, season 2, episode 8 of the Piledriver podcast. The biggest episode of the podcast yet, I would say. I am one of your hosts, Daniel, joined by my other two hosts.
It's Berman.
And Chris.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our co-host Berman is back with us this week. And this week we got a crazy podcast. We're predicting 3 shows. We're predicting the WWE, NXT, and NXT UK crossover, Worlds Collide. We're also going to be predicting WWE Clash at the Castle 2022. And we'll also be predicting AEW All Out 2022. All of these 3 events are happening this weekend. It is going to probably be the biggest wrestling weekend in years, I must say. 2 huge companies having 2 huge events on the same weekend is just massive news. And if you even want to include Worlds Collide as a bonus, then go right ahead. But yeah, last week was a very negative podcast, I must admit, from my personal end. And I must say that a lot has happened within the past week. And yeah, this week I'm going to be giving you guys a bit more of a tame podcast for sure. But there's still a lot of negatives we do have to talk about within AEW still, despite having the pretty good show this week and clearing up some of the air that it has. There's still more that I need to talk about with AEW. So, you guys ready to begin?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's begin some updates on the AEW locker room situation. We're going to begin again tame here. Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. So last week, it was originally reported that a lot of the shit talking was going on backstage, but that turned out not to be the case. It actually was through promo work, and as Sammy has mentioned through interviews, how AEW wrestlers in general work. And, when they're feuding, they tell each other, what to say and what not to say, or, what they can say and what they can't say to each other in promos. And, Sammy, one of his things is that he likes, he doesn't like people, talking shit about his wife, Ty. And that's like, his little thing. So, he told Eddie, but Eddie never really told him. And Eddie was never really being very, he wasn't communicating with Sammy, I guess you could say. So, I guess Sammy could really come up with off the top of his head in that Rampage promo is calling Eddie Kingston a fat ass. So, quite simply put, Kingston, after the promo, did attempt to swing at him. Now, I did say a lot of harsh things about Sammy Guevara last week, but when there is an obvious truth going on, it cannot be ignored. And Eddie Kingston admitted it himself. He was in the wrong for being unprofessional, because what happens on the promo happens on the promo. But he did apologize. And before Dynamite aired yesterday, Sammy and Eddie both apologized to each other face to face, shook hands, and it's all water under the bridge now. So yeah, good news on both ends right there. I'm glad they both professionally were able to work things out. And so I'm going to let these two give their thoughts on that.
It is unprofessional, but it's going to come into this point of there's a Jonathan Gresham a little bit like saying like, yeah, you're a fat ass, or like Jonathan Gresham mean like you're too small. It's just weird to me this year. Like, see people angry about that much sometimes, only if they were bullied in school, which technically Eddie Kingston not correctly was. But to me, I feel it's understandable, and at least they kind of said sorry to each other, and it's kind of water over the bridge. Under the bridge, so I think it's okay for me.
For me, I don't think it's like an Eddie Kingston is a bully victim thing. I think what it is Eddie Kingston is just a person that doesn't want to take shit from anybody, and that's completely understandable, if I'm being quite honest there. So, yeah, Chris, your thoughts?
Honestly, dude, it's not water underneath the bridge unless we get an actual match in the ring. Otherwise, this beef is never over. So let them fight. Fake fight in the ring.
But must I say that replacement match
was
we're going to
ass.
talk about later?
Is ass.
No,
It's
it's so much better.
No,
it's so much.
That is so much better.
How can you say Guevara is a better slot for Eddie than
we'll get
Ishii?
to it. No, you ruined it. We're going to talk about it later. God
All
damn
right.
it, Daniel.
All right, fine. Moving on. Thunder Rosa. Now, this isn't good. Today, there was a media call with Tony Khan. And basically, he was asked about Thunder Rosa. Basically, he responded to the criticism of how Thunder Rosa only gets like 30 seconds to a few minutes to talk, while someone like a CM Punk can get like a 10-minute promo. And he said that he absolutely disagrees with the criticism. And if we're being quite honest here, an 8-minute CM Punk promo is going to draw more money than an 8-minute Thunder Rosa promo.
And that's how we get canceled, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go.
No, that wasn't from me. That was from Tony Khan.
Oh, okay. Okay,
she's really bad with promos, and it shows on a lot of the promos. So.
But how are you going to bury your own talent like that? That's insane. Especially your women's champion. Like you literally just buried an entire division by accident right there. That's all I can say.
Stupid Tony Khan. That's all I'm going to say.
And yeah, clearly he has favoritism for Britt Baker, and how there's been a lot of reports recently about Tony's about Thunder Rosa, apparently being mean to backstage people or whatnot. But basically, a lot of people believe, including myself, this is quite possibly a smear campaign from Britt Baker. Because how Britt Baker the entire time has been trying to sabotage Thunder Rosa's entire title reign and everything. And clearly now we're even seeing favoritism from Tony Khan come here into play. So, question has it, are AEW treating Thunder Rosa unfairly?
I think so, yes.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Khan, dude, you don't do that. You don't bury your own roster like that. All right, Berman, let me give you an example. Imagine Triple H in a media call going oh, you want to know why I didn't give Becky Lynch as much time on the microphone as Seth Rollins? Because Seth Rollins can draw me more money. It's just stupid. It's ridiculous. It's no offense. It's not Thunder Rosa's fault Tony Khan doesn't know how to book women's wrestling. Let's just call it like it is.
You need a woman general manager.
If your name ain't Britt Baker or Jade Cargill, he's gonna treat you like trash, bro. That just seems like the narrative now. After Big Swole and now this, I'm just saying.
Now, another thing I'm going to bring up, because I already talked my opinions 2 episodes ago about Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. I'm going to restate it again, that I just want these two to go get injured and just get the hell away from these things, so AEW's women's division can go above these two women, so they can get the hell out of them. I just don't. It pisses me off every time where they get pushed where it should not be pushed at the same time. So I always say it again, and that's the last time I'm going to say it. I want Britt and Jade to get injured and get the hell out of the company for about a year or 2 years until the women's division is better than them. And that's all.
I don't know, man. I don't even think I can even blame Jade and Britt anymore. I just think Tony Khan is a really incompetent booker when it comes to booking a women's division.
No.
Yeah, that's going to be true, but maybe I just still think maybe without those two, if they're injured, Tony Khan maybe has better decisions, and then booking those two, but booking some other people.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll just have to say this. Thunder Rosa, clearly there's some bullshit going on backstage, going on with Thunder Rosa that the company clearly wants to hide from the public. It is what it is, I guess. We'll find out more about everything going on backstage between Thunder Rosa and AEW probably within years to come. So moving on to Bobby Fish. So Bobby Fish will not be signing a new deal with AEW. It is very, very unfortunate. They did not get to finish the Elite versus Undisputed Era story. We didn't get to see Kyle and Bobby hold the tag titles, but yeah, I think this is pretty disappointing overall. Of course, Bobby was signed before Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, I believe, and he was only signed to a 1 year, while Kyle and Adam have been signed to a 5 year. I don't know why that is. And then the other huge thing is that Bobby Fish was apparently cleared from injury, ready to go, ready to return, and Tony Khan just did not want to use him. So, and there's another important detail to all of this. Bobby Fish, a few days before all this news came out in an interview, said that he would be willing to go to war for Triple H. We don't know the context behind it, but he said he would be willing to go to war for Triple H. And of course, his times under Triple H were probably great, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Point being, though, is that he is out of AEW. Could this be the beginning of, things falling out for, the Adam Kyle circle? I really hope not. That would genuinely suck for AEW. I don't know, again, what's going on, but I don't think this was a good decision at all to, let Bobby Fish go. Whether it's, out of pettiness or, it's out of just thinking he's too old or whatever it is. I just don't really think getting rid of Bobby Fish right now, at least before doing other things, finishing storylines, is a smart decision.
Yeah, it's weird to me. Like, Bobby Fish, to me, I love him, and he's got out of the elite, the Undisputed Era. That's weird to me why that's happening. So it would be interesting if he does go back into WWE. Maybe he goes back and rejoins a Roderick Strong. There's a good possibility. I don't know what's happening with him. So it's possible that that's what, if he ever goes to WWE, that's probably what might happen. But it's weird what's happening with Bobby Fish and the AEW. Something, maybe disagreement with Tony Khan or something. I don't know. It makes no sense why they would destroy the Undisputed Era like that.
I agree. It is weird. And I don't know. Maybe he is going to return to WWE. But my thing with Triple H, right? He has plans to bring back Braun Strowman sometime very soon. And I disagree with it. And the reason why I disagree with it is because I feel like Triple H doesn't need to sign every single guy that got released again. And let's be real about Braun Strowman here. After WWE, what the hell has this guy done? Shave his head almost to look like a retard and basically try to create a company called Control Your Narrative.
You don't have to go him that hard.
But I'm just telling the truth. He tried to create a joke, Control Your Narrative, and he's going to abandon it to return to WWE because he knows, just like everybody knows, the idea in the first place was the most pathetic thing in wrestling we have seen in the past few years.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing to me is that about this Braun Strowman, there's only a very select few things that might redeem Braun Strowman with this. To me, there's only two. One is if Bray Wyatt comes back and Braun Strowman's with him. It'd be fun to see if that actually will happen. It sounds interesting. Maybe. And number two is if Braun Strowman changes up his character and changes up his moveset and get rid of the powerbomb. Sorry, not the powerbomb, the freaking power slam, and replaces it with either the reverse choke slam that I love him seeing, the sleeper that he does, or the I think it's called the Yokozuna cutter. I can't really say that much.
Yokozuna cutter.
That's the only two I would love to see if Braun Strowman comes back. There's the only two options I want to see Braun Strowman do. If it's none of these three options, he's dead.
I mean, yeah, like whatever they do better be interesting. I get you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think Triple H needs to bring back all these WWE guys that got released. You can bring back some, of course, but I don't think you can bring back all of them. And Bobby Fish, he's a very good in-ring talent, but he definitely was the weak link of the Undisputed Era. And even though I do like the idea of him with Roderick Strong, I also want Roderick to kind of have a more serious solo career by this point. I mean, yes, he's doing his thing with Diamond Mine and whatever, but I don't know. Whether it's bringing him to the main roster or something, I feel like we need to, tune it up for Roderick too, honestly.
That is completely true. I think Roderick Strong is a big waste the biggest thing is him. Like, he had the best matches on NXT Black and Gold. So it's stupid why they don't use him for bigger and better things. Maybe you bring back the Cruiserweight Championship. I would love to see that. Maybe bring back, or he just gets a United States Championship match against Bobby Lashley. Maybe like an open challenge. He comes out and he maybe gets the win for it. I don't know, something interesting. It's gonna waste for Roger Spawn to be misused.
Yeah, I get you. So yeah, Chris, what's your opinion on Bobby Fish being out of AEW?
I mean, at this rate, he wasn't even. It's not. I'm not gonna blame Tony. Well, actually, we should blame Tony Khan for this because he wasn't really used that much, and if anything, he was kind of like forgettable. If I'm being quite honest here, like I always felt like he was kind of the weakest thing, part of the crew.
Yeah, I mean, he was, but I feel like we needed to keep him because of that whole Elite versus Undisputed Era story.
I know. Well, I don't blame Bobby for leaving because at this rate, even after that, would they actually do anything with him once this little invasion thing's over with between these two groups?
That's probably his thought process. He's probably thinking, at most, I have 6 months to a year of relevancy, then I'm basically like done with this company. So he probably ripped the Band-Aid off before it could even be ripped off, honestly.
That's a big fair statement, rather.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to be copying and pasting some info into the Discord as we go along here, but for our next topic, I have 10 changes I want done to AEW. All right, and I'm gonna be quick about this. My first overall major issue is that there are way too many fucking championships on All Elite Wrestling programming, and I'm not just talking about within the company. I'm talking about literally all the belts they have defended. So I have literally went back and have discovered all the championships that have been defended on AEW TV. And in just 3 fucking years, there have been a total of nearly 5 to 6 different wrestling company championships defended in this one company. And the company also has a total of 2 women's titles when they don't even have a fucking women's division. They have 2 women's titles. They have a trios title. They have a tag team title. They have an FTW title. They have an All-Atlantic title. They have a TNT title, and they have an AEW title. That is 8 fucking titles for only 3 hours of television. Tony Khan, if he fucking adds one more title to this fucking show, I will literally fly out to Jacksonville and strangle him myself. Jesus fucking Christ. Stop adding fucking titles. This is stupid.
So you want more titles?
Yep, exactly. You're right. No, but yeah, it's just like the IWGP US title, the Impact World title, the Impact Tag titles, the AAA Mixed Tag titles, the NWA Women's title, all of the ROH championships. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. And we already have 8 championships on television that we have to fit in within 3 fucking hours. And since ROH doesn't even have their own TV show, we have to fit in 6 other fucking titles. So that's 14 fucking championships that we have to fill in 3 fucking hours of television.
It's a fair statement with all that stuff. The big thing to me is that Tony Khan right now just needs to make a TV show for the Ring of Honor. Or because right now, pretty much all the Ring of Honor are defended in the main, in like Dynamite or Rampage, which
that's needed.
Yeah, so either he makes these titles more relevant and makes a show a Ring of Honor show, or he waits and leaves those Ring of Honor to kind of calm down a little bit and give like sporadic championship, like maybe like 2 weeks championship, 2 weeks championship, like matches and everything. Like, don't make it all the way that he's trying to show, hey, I have complete domain of Ring of Honor. And I think that's his strategy. And you can see it from all the championships that you just talked about, and mainly IWGP, Impact, the AAA, and the NWA, and the Ring of Honor. He wants to say, hey, I have complete and utter control of the wrestling industry right now. I can can use any title I want and saying, so I have complete domain. To me, it's pretty much saying, hey, Triple H, come get me. I have more titles than you in this, and you can't stop me. That's pretty much how I think his mind is going right now, and that's the
Okay.
only thing I can explanation. It makes so much sense in my head. I can sounds right, and it's perfectly makes sense for him pretty much saying, "Hey, I'm threatening you, Triple H. If you can't stop me, I can take over the whole entire wrestling industry." And
Yeah.
that's showing how many titles he has under his belt, pretty much. And that's how I think that's what his point of the show right now is to do. So that's all I have to say of this one.
Okay. I mean, Chris, what do you think? Do you agree with me about like the too many titles?
There's too many titles, and the thing is, like, sometimes like most of these titles are treated like as mid tiers, or the mid carder, I should say, because he doesn't like using that word. But let's be honest here. Outside of the tag team titles, maybe the world championship titles, it doesn't seem to me like the other titles actually get any TV time. Like realistically, like we're putting Warlord, like for God's sakes, it was like the biggest hype thing for him to win the title finally back, just for him to
Yeah.
do the stupid feud with Jay Lethal, and I'm like, dude. And then we
Yeah.
haven't.
Like
And you know what's crazy too? We haven't done anything with the Atlanta Championship belt yet. What's the
so. Yeah. So I
point?
have copy and pasted all the details for the championship. So yes, Wardlow. He was squashing guys like MJF and Scorpio literally 2 or 3 months ago. Now he's in a garbage program with fucking Lethal and friends. Then the All Atlantic Championship. You're going to introduce a title at Forbidden Door, right? And then it's been 2 months, and it hasn't been defended once on Dynamite or Rampage yet at all.
Only on Dark.
Then you got the it's only been on Dark. It's only been on Dark. And then you got the FTW Championship, which literally Hook is basically having these short ass matches with opponents that nobody believes will beat him. Cool Hand Angelo, seriously, we'll get to that later. But yeah, AEW Women's Championship. We already talked about Thunder Rosa and all that crap. Same with the TBS title. Jade Cargill had a good run at the start. Sorry for the starting at the start, but it has lost its steam over time. Jade has lost her steam over time. Then the AEW tag titles. There is no major story or major narrative going on. Swerve and Our Glory have been having a piss poor title reign, especially by the stories they've been having. And I talked about it last week, and I'll talk about it even more whenever we predict their match. And then the trios championships, we might as well just call it the Elite Circle Jerk Championship, in my opinion. But we'll get to that later too.
Yeah, it does piss me off. All these championships, like right now, All Atlantic Championship right now has been finally been on a pay-per-view. So at least it's a good thing. But there's so many, like mainly FTWs. Like I know it's not the big championship or anything, but for God's sakes, Hook is probably your best-selling, the best-selling superstar right now, and you don't take advantage of them. You're an idiot for being that idiotic. I'm gonna repeat myself again. I don't know why you're so stupid. Pretty much saying, "Hook, here, get a unrelevant championship, and not like maybe a TNT championship, which is probably the better one I could have won." And just says, "Here, take a useless championship and go." It's just weird. So
Yeah,
that's that I have to say about this one.
fair enough. And what about you, Chris?
No, that's it. I think we said what needs to be said.
All right, now the 10 major changes. That was the first thing I want to talk about before going over the list. Now, I want to go over the list. All of those now, as difficult as it is to fit all those championships in 3 hours, there's a way to fix all this. This is how. These are the 10 changes AEW must make after All Out 2022. Number 1, replace Monday Dark Evolution with a 1-hour Ring of Honor YouTube show until they get a weekly TV deal. Now, let's be honest, we can sacrifice Dark Evolution. And maybe a lot of you are saying, but I like Dark Evolution. I like my Monday Dark Evolution. Here's the thing, though, right? The views that Dark Evolution gets are literally the same as fucking backyard wrestling, dude. Like, not enough people watch it for it to really, warrant being around. I'm just keeping it real. Now, Number 2, only count wins on Dynamite, Rampage, and pay-per-views. Dark should not count in the win-loss record. I think Dark should just be exhibition matches for talent trying to get themselves on a platform. And, not everybody has, the time to watch, Dark when we already have Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage. Like, seriously, who do people think wrestling fans are? I mean, okay, a lot of wrestling fans might not have jobs and whatnot, but some do. Some do, or they're going to college, or they're doing something. Like, AEW can't be airing a random, stupid bullshit TV show every single day of the week. I'm sorry. That is just the way I personally see it. And if you want to air it, fine, but don't make it matter to your overall storylines. That's basically trying to demand people to dedicate their time to something that just shouldn't be dedicated to. Now, number 3, make Rampage go live with 2 hours and put more effort into the Rampage cards and make it a true competitor to SmackDown, because you already got your Raw style show with Dynamite, but it would be kind of offensive to Friday Night SmackDown if we called Rampage a SmackDown show, because these cards that Rampage puts on every week are absolute garbage. And honestly, I'm questioning how this show is still airing on TV with the garbage that's actually been put on it. So, yeah, go live, 2 hours, put more effort. Now, number 4, do a soft draft. Like, put the AEW World Championship, the TNT Championship, Women's Championship, Trios Championship, and Tag Team Championships. Put those 5 on the main 2-hour show, Dynamite. And then for the Rampage show, you could put on some of the other minor titles, like the All Atlantic, the TBS, the FTW. Do like a little soft draft. Don't do anything too crazy. People can still show up wherever they want, but kind of establish things more, where, a certain division and certain scene will be on that show more than that show. And, kind of set things up so where Rampage and Dynamite are kind of different from each other. Number 5, this one's a major one. No more signings. We have a huge roster, and we have tons of people complaining about not getting enough TV time. They need to get TV time. Enough said. Number 6, have an important arc in mind for AEW. Whenever I watched AEW in its first 2 years, the major arc was about Hangman Adam Page, battling alcoholism, battling self-doubt, all of those things to become the world champion. Or after that, it was CM Punk's redemption in the world wrestling scene. But think about it like this. Right now, there's no true arc in AEW. And AEW needs its arc. It needs its major story. WWE has theirs right now with Roman and McIntyre. We need our major story in AEW right now. Now, number 7, improve the women's division. We've said enough. I don't need to elaborate. 8, make sure nearly everyone that you have contracted is utilized correctly. Number 9, no more of the Elite show. I love Kenny. I know people love the Bucks, but they hog some of the spotlight, and they need to be on less sometimes. That's just the truth. And number 10, stop giving 2 weeks of build to every fucking pay-per-view. Literally, I called it out last week how everyone was calling out each other for the pay-per-view. But again, put 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks into your pay-per-view build, not 2 weeks. It's not enough time to tell stories and get your record straight. And yeah, those are my 10 issues. I'll let these two talk about some things that they would like to see.
You're perfectly fine. To me, the main thing is make Rampage more of a SmackDown-like contender. I do love the thing of Rampage is that they just need to make Rampage more better. Like, make it more SmackDown to 2 hours long. Make it something that people are more happy to watch and say, I might watch it. Then, I'm going to definitely watch it. They just need to make sure that they fix Rampage and make it better and longer.
I'm not gonna make it. And I guess for me, honestly, just increase the production value of Rampage. Do what you got to do instead of being like this joke. Because I haven't watched Rampage in like well over 3 months. And honestly, keep the Ring of Honor stuff away from AEW. Just do its own thing, like what Daniel mentioned. Like, just replace Dark, because nobody watches Dark unless Konosuke's in it. That was the only reason why I watched it in the first place, and he's gone, so I'm never gonna watch it ever again.
I mean, if you catch like a match or two from Dark, it's fine. But who is actually watching Dark every single week?
Me. No. Nobody. It's just for tax breaks.
It's for people. It's for like. It's more targeted towards like grade school kids and people who don't have jobs. And yeah,
And it's free on YouTube. You can watch it right now.
that's kind of what it's supposed to be, in my opinion. But yeah. Any more changes you guys would like to say, or do you guys want to get on with the wrestling shows?
Fun shows.
Showtime.
Showtime. All right. I'm going to make reviewing Raw and Dynamite quick as hell compared to usual because we have 3 shows to predict for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, first Monday Night Raw, August 29th. I thought it was good. It wasn't the best show under Triple H. It didn't have like any crazy matches, on the show, but you had some good stuff here and there. You had a pretty good contest between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso, and there was a great promo he delivered, to Sami Zayn, kind of referring back to, how much heart Sami Zayn actually does have. And really the story of how Sami doesn't want to hit KO and all this stuff. And he's kind of like lying about why he didn't hit KO. Overall, it's just really fun stuff. And it's really good teasing, to get back to KO and Sami being best friends again. And, they've never become the tag champs. And I think them becoming the tag champs would be awesome. And it would be fulfilling for Kevin Owens so he could become a Grand Slam champion. Yeah, so I really love how they're setting all that stuff up, if I'm being quite honest here. I'm not going to mention every single thing in every single match. But yeah, Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa, they had a little enhancement match, and they basically said they're going to win. Nothing too crazy right there. Yeah, Damage Control throughout the show, basically hyping up the main event against Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah in the finals for the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament, which ultimately Damage Control actually lost, and some people were pretty pissed off by this. I'm going to explain why I think Raquel and Aliyah actually won. So I think Sasha and Naomi are eventually going to return. And when they do, I think they'll be going after the Women's Tag Team Championships. I genuinely don't think they wanted Damage Control to win and have Sasha and Naomi kind of return and overshadow that moment. I think they want to give Damage Control their sort of moment after some of that Sasha and Naomi buzz is off. So I think they're going to bring Sasha and Naomi back and have them get a run before we do stuff with Dakota and Io. That's just where I think it's all going. And that's why I'm not too angry about it. The staple just got started a month ago, guys. Give it time. Give it time to grow. Nobody besides NXT viewers knew who Io and Dakota was. So again, you got to give this all time, let it resonate with people. So Kurt Angle returned, had a fun segment with Chad Gable. It set up to a match with Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. Nothing too crazy there. It was pretty decent. Again, Kurt also had a fun backstage segment with Edge where Edge was giving him the huge cards from that one segment back in the day in 2002. Which basically kind of popularized the "You Suck" chant, that whole feud, and is the reason why Kurt is bald today, if you all didn't know. So yeah, very fun reference right there with Kurt, and seeing Kurt, Edge, and Ray in the same locker room again really makes it feel like SmackDown 2002, and that's pretty awesome. So yeah, overall, the stuff between Edge and Mysterios and Judgment Day was just great throughout the night, especially Edge's little roast on the Judgment Day. That was really fun, and yeah. We also got cool stuff. We got a cool little backstage thing with Gargano, kind of talking about everything before getting interrupted by Theory, telling him that, Gargano, you're swimming with sharks now. You're not in the same old little NXT that you've been in for the past few years. And I like that stuff. I like how they're building to Gargano versus Theory. And who knows? Does Gargano take the briefcase? I think it's very possible because I don't know if they're very high on Theory anymore. I'm not going to excite myself with that idea too much, but I definitely could see them giving the briefcase to Gargano due to some of that steam from Theory dying. I would love that to happen. You got some more stuff with The Miz and Dexter, which Dexter has been pretty fun. Honestly, I know a lot of people like the Index stuff. I do too. I have no problem with the Index stuff he does, but I kind of that kind of stuff after a while kind of makes you forget a little bit who Dexter Lumis actually kind of is and how you can kind of get away with some funny stuff with him. And overall, I think this Miz and Dexter story is kind of fun. I think it's funny, and the Miz kind of just being like, I don't want to talk about what happened. It kind of makes me question like what did actually happen last week. When he got kidnapped. I think that's pretty funny. So yeah, I mentioned all that I could here, but if we're talking about the real highlight of the show, it is definitely going to Seth Rollins and Riddle. My goodness, man. So they had a brawl in the parking lot before the show began. And then they had this little face-to-face. And, basically, Rollins was going off talking about how, he's going to get the win over Riddle at Clash and how, he's basically pissed off at Riddle for costing him the win at Money in the Bank with that RKO off the ladder. And, that's why he's been targeting him so much. And, Riddle, of course, he wasn't going to have it. And he told Rollins that after Clash, he's going to prove there's only one man in his marriage, and that is Becky. And Rollins, he went from little, laughing, joking, trolling Seth Rollins, the Seth Rollins we know today. But after he said that, his demeanor completely changed. And it looked like there was a serious fire within Rollins after Riddle said that. And Rollins wasn't laughing at all when he said this. He said, you want to talk about my family? Let's talk about your family. Let's talk about why your wife left you, took your kids, and they didn't want to see your bitch ass anymore. And then Riddle flat out was like, what did this guy say? And literally was like, where are you? Where are you? And then, Rollins just kept calling him a bitch and all this stuff. And, Riddle was like, all right, I'm not going to beat you up. I'm going to fuck you up. Where the fuck are you? And, Riddle is seriously snapping, seething. And this is easily the first time we have ever seen Riddle flat out like, this furious and angry ever. And not even just in NXT, but just flat out ever in this company. And this is seriously such an intriguing, great side that we're getting out of Riddle right now. And obviously him being an MMA fighter and ass kicker, it really feels kind of like, intimidating from Rollins' end. Like I was watching this and I was like, is Riddle gonna fuck Rollins up? like seriously, like this had some partial heat behind it because there was actually heat between Rollins and Riddle's wives back then. And that's what caused real life beef back then before they're cool now. But seeing them implement like some of the real life reason why they had beef back then into this story, awesome. Absolutely awesome. I think this was one of the best segments of the year for the WWE. And it got me really excited for Rollins versus Riddle. I knew it was going to be a great match, but I needed something. I needed that heated segment. And this was it. This was it, brother. Raw was a pretty decent show, but if it wasn't for this, I don't think we would be caring about Raw as much. This was definitely the show-stealing segment. And thanks to this segment, I am going to give Raw a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, the Raw was great. My favorite segment to me was just Dexter. I think Dexter is one of my favorite things happening more or less on Raw. Same with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley versus The Miz. It was just fun to see it, and I just love to see Dexter Lumis being just a creepy asshole and just staring at him. And it's just so good of the storyline. Seth Rollins versus the Riddle promo. Great. I loved it. The thing to me that kind of ruined a little bit and with Danny saying the reasoning before that was the Raquel Gonzalez and Aaliyah winning those titles kind of pissed me off a little bit because I'm like, well, I kind of wanted them to win because technically what I would have loved it that happened was the all for the gold at Clash of the Castle. Because that would have been fun to kind of make the match a lot better at Clash of the Castle would be a all for the golds tag team championships and the women's title.
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, that's what I would have done, but I get why the company did what they did. I get it.
Yeah, so it makes sense. And the AJ Dolph Ziggler Judgment Day, great. I always loved Dolph Ziggler, and I always give a lot of high praises for Dolph. The great matches, and I loved the promo with Rey Mysterio and his son. It was interesting, and mainly his son doesn't want to hit Rhea Ripley. And it kind of feels like to me that maybe he wants to join the Judgment Day, and that's the main thing. I want him to see him an angrier side, and I want him. The main thing to me is I want him to get out of his father's shadow and I want him to become his own man, his own guy, make his own finisher, make him the most badass guy, make him like the most interesting guy to watch. And I'm hoping that's Triple H is probably thinking that to do that, and I'm hoping to see that at Clash of the Castle. That's my main thing right now. All the other show, I loved it. Definitely a 7.5 for me, actually.
Oh yeah, and I actually back to your Dominic Mysterio thing. Yes, I did not mention Dominic. I thought that stuff was great. I'll be talking more about him in the predictions for Clash. But as for AJ, you noticed. I'm asking you as well, Chris. You both noticed how AJ refused to hit Finn in that match, in that tag team match.
He should have.
So AJ might be joining. Just throwing that idea out there.
That would be interesting. How they're going to do it, make it their own Bullet Club.
Or maybe we're setting up Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to come back, and maybe we're doing the club versus Judgment Day if we throw Dominic in there. Who knows what they're doing? But it definitely seems like they're setting it up for AJ to be the next story for the Judgment Day.
Only if right now the Good Brothers right now are Impact Wrestling Championship champions, and Carl Anderson is the never open right now. So I don't know how long they're going to keep him as champions right now. So it's going to be quite good
situation. So who knows?
Chris, anything you have to say?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Everything about Raw was great, except for that segment with Kurt Angle and the Alpha Academy. And I will stand by this. The Alpha Academy needs to go away.
No,
They're
they
not
don't.
funny, and they're not, and they're fucking cringe.
I cannot believe you just said this.
That was the worst part of Raw. And why can't Dominic just hit women? It's wrestling. It's fine.
You know what, Chris?
What?
Shush.
No. Alpha Academy's garbo. That's Vince.
I agree with him. I'm agreeing with him. I don't like Alpha Academy. They're stupid. They are dumb. Their style. Like first time, like to me, I love Chad Gable. Don't get me wrong. I loved him when he was the American Alpha. When he was the American Alpha was with the guy's name. He was just great. I love him. I hate him now that he's pretty much becoming like a Joker, and I just don't like him. He's very stupid. I don't like how he's set up. So I'm agreeing with Chris with this.
Damn. I personally loved them, but whatever. Chris, you continue.
And that's it. And the whole just let the men fight the women. It's fine. It's scripted anyways. We're in 2022.
You're talking about like Rhea?
Just in general. I never liked that about modern wrestling. I'm like, just let them fight. It's scripted. Who cares?
Yeah. WWE and AEW are too scared to get canceled.
Oh well, stay Lucha Underground was never.
See, Lucha's real.
Lucha Underground let men fight against women. It was fun.
No, yeah, I think they should. I think it should be allowed, but I'm not in charge of that.
And the only last thing I have to say is I did not like that promo of Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory because it made Johnny look pathetic. And I did
How
not
did it
like
make him look pathetic?
How
did it look pathetic?
Because all he was doing is complain. He's like, man, I wish I could be like just like you, Austin Theory. I wasn't born. I didn't.
What did he ever say any of this, bro?
Well, not exactly like that, but like just the way he was going off, it just seemed like sad and just like there's no way he's beating like Austin Theory in this feud. I'm like, dude, come on.
He didn't say anything sad about Austin Theory. He said that he wished for the guy's success because here's the thing. I think you're out of the loop on how close they were back in NXT. So he doesn't know who this new Theory really is yet.
Still, it just made him look sad. I'm like, really? Really, Gargano, we're doing this again? I don't want loser Gargano from NXT. I want the winner. Okay, that's
well. What do you rate Raw?
A 6.
All right. Now, time to talk about the other show, AEW Dynamite. Overall, thought it was pretty good. I thought Dynamite slightly had the better show this week. Slightly. You got pretty good. Again, you got pretty good action here. You got a great fatal 4-way between Rey Fenix, Dante Martin, Roosh, and Wheeler Yuta, with Yuta getting the win. You got a very strong tag team match with Toni Storm and Sheeta defeating Britt Baker and Hayter, with Sheeta pinning Baker. You got Wardlow and FTR fighting jobbers. You got Jake Hager versus Bryan Danielson in a good match. You got the Mox and Punk stuff, which I thought the whole Punk Ace Steel promo was great. I thought that was fantastic stuff. And I thought, I think Mox and Punk, no matter what story you're going to give them, there's going to be great storytellers. My whole thing is I still feel like last week's loss was unnecessary. And part of me is disappointed with the fact that we're doing a rematch and it's normal again. I feel like we could kind of add some sort of stipulation, but I am still very excited for Mox versus Punk regardless. I thought the Christian and Jungle Boy interview that happened on the show was really freaking good. Got me excited for that match. I already am excited for that match, but yeah. We also got another segment where W. Morrissey basically just killed the wingmen demanding for TV time like goofballs. And Stokely was impressed, and he gave a business card to W. They both walked out. Tony asked, "What's the deal with all these business cards?" Stokely said it's none of his business. And then Tony was like, "Well, we aired the show on TNT and TBS, so yes, it is our business." And Stokely aggressively grabbed him and said, "Again, it is not your business." And they both left basically. And yeah, so that's all the segments I'm really going to mention. All the matches I'm really going to mention. The main event was the clear highlight of the show: the Elite versus the United Empire. Oh my goodness, man. If we're talking in-ring ability, again, I said it a few weeks ago, I'll say it again. Will Ospreay is the best in-ring competitor of 2022. That is just the facts. Like, everything that goes on with Will Ospreay is just fantastic. And he's been on a killer crackhead roll these past few weeks with his matches with Naito, Okada, matches in England. Now this, just insane stuff from Will Ospreay. And Kenny and the Bucks won again in one of the best, probably the best TV main event this year. I am thinking seriously from a standpoint, this is going down as one of my favorite matches, one of the best matches this year. Just overall insanity from Ospreay and Omega, and a lot. Even though these two get a lot of criticism for being, not very good storytellers, they told quite the damn good story in this match with, Ospreay, taking off the shirt and Omega still having like the bandages and stuff, kind of like, showing Omega, he's kind of like, dragging himself in a way through this tournament. Like, he's healed, but he's not really healed. And, it's just great storytelling. And of course, you have Omega win with the one-winged angel in the end. You go off the air, but after things go off the air, United Empire actually attacked the Elite. And that's how it all ended. Overall, 7.5, pretty good show. And that's about it for me.
Yeah, this was a great Dynamite before a pay-per-view. Jake Hager versus Bryan Danielson was great technical. And the part right after where it was Chris Jericho wanting to hit Daniel Bryan over the head with a chair was stopped by sorry, I forgot his name, Daniel Garcia. And it was really great to see that. And then freaking Daniel Bryan hit him with the Buseido knee right to the face of Jericho. That's great, setting up the big things happening at All Out. Can't wait to see Garcia in the Blackpool Combat Club. Now I'm going to say a lot more when we do predictions for this, but the Toni Storm, the tag team match for the women, I'm going to have a lot of crap about this, but it was not that bad of a match. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the big championship match for these 4 people at the predictions for. So that's one thing I'm going to probably say. But everything, like, I love W. Morrissey comes back, is in All Elite. I think that's great. W. Morrissey was a great person to impact, and I think that he's going to do great. He's going to be probably one of the best big men in the company. I feel like it would be fun to see him more. The Punk and Moxley stuff, great, very intense. I love it to see it. I loved the Fatal 4-Way match. It was amazing to watch. I like that Really Lita won, kind of showing that maybe he could win the briefcase or something with them. And then the Elite and Undisputed Era, the best match of the night. It was just amazing to watch. Like all the best counters, everything that he was using and everything. It was just perfect setups and everything. That weird, what's it called? A shooting star Meltzer driver looked a little bit off, but it was pretty cool, to say the least.
Grab on. He kind of just did like a headbutt to the back.
Yeah, it looked off, but it did look okay, even though it didn't hit all the way. It was still good. I did love it. The thing was like, I don't think he even hit the Oz cutter. Like once he tried it all the time, but missed all the time. Yeah, it's like to me, I at least want to see him like hit the Oz cutter once fully.
Yeah,
But,
I get you. I feel like there's a lot of big things for Omega and Ospreay one-on-one.
Yeah, this is probably another pay-per-view, but maybe Forbidden Door. That's what's going to happen. Forbidden Door 2 setup.
Yeah, Forbidden Door 2, Wrestle Kingdom 17, or Grand Slam 2 in a few weeks. They could do literally in anyone.
Yeah. So for this, this is great. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it was fine. Besides the main event, everything else was okay. That what was it? The wing Wednesday or no
The Wing Wednesday.
that was cringe. I did not like that.
The one winged angel.
Something like that. And then the one thing I'm surprised.
Oh no, he's talking about the Wingmen when they got attacked by Morrissey.
W. Morrissey. Well, it was weird, but technically they have been doing a lot more. I think actually in what's it called, Deadlock Wrestling, which is still down there, but it's still been great to watch. If no one watches it, I recommend watching that. It's great to watch, seeing people don't know having the best matches of their lives. To be perfectly honest, I'm going to throw that out right now. But I think that's probably, they're just trying to show off a little bit that W. Morrissey is like the big dog that people should look out for. That's all I say.
For sure. And the only last thing, because I know we've been dragging this a little late, is I'm actually surprised Britt Baker actually took the loss. That was shocking because I did not expect that.
We'll get to that later.
I am shocked by that because that gives me so much hope for the pay-per-view. And I'm like, oh my God, they might actually give it to someone that isn't Britt Baker.
You see, it did the opposite for me. But I'll explain why later.
Okay. But other than that, it was okay. And I fucking called CM Punk fighting Jon Moxley, so there we go. Because I didn't buy it for a second. I'm like, there, give me $20, Daniel.
No.
Okay, and that's it. And the show was like a 7. No, actually, no, it was a 6. Outside that, great match with Will Ospreay. That's it.
Damn.
Both 6s.
All right. Now, bear with us, y'all. We'll all be going in a different order here for these next 3 shows. But first, out of these 3 shows, we'll be talking about Clash at the Castle 2022 in Cardiff. This is the first UK stadium pay-per-view since SummerSlam 1992. So, yeah, the hype is for real. 6 matches. It's going to be 3 hours. Overall, this is the show I am the most excited for this weekend. What about you guys?
Barman, are you excited for the show?
Yes. Yes, I am.
That's going to sound so awkward whenever we're listening to this back. Oh, man. All right. Now, I'm going to begin predicting here. We're predicting matches based off the order I think the card is going to be in. First match, I think they're going to open the show with a hard-hitting, 20, maybe even 20-minute, I'd say 15 to 20-minute match here. between Gunther and Sheamus for the IC championship. I think Sheamus will, again, get some good spots in and all of that, but in the end, I think they're going to keep the belt on Gunther. I think he's having quite the exceptional run at the moment, and I don't think it's going to end this early. So yeah, that's all I could really say. I think Gunther retains here.
Yeah, I mean, this match should be probably one of the best. I perfectly say. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna my expectations is a 9 because Walter has been doing the best, and I think this match should be the best because these two are brutal heavy hitters. So definitely, I'm gonna give it to Sheamus for my prediction.
You think he's going to get the Grand Slam?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Chris?
I'm hoping Gunther takes it, aka Walter, and honestly, expectation will definitely be 8.5. It's going to be the underdog match for a Clash of the Castle, so I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, hard-hitting way to open the show. Started off that way. I think it'll be great. Now, Bayley, Io, and Dakota, also known as Damage Control, will be going up against the team of Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Now, I think Damage Control lost on Monday. I think they're going to need to get some of that momentum back, to be looking strong as a group. I think this will be a fun, good match, fun, good 6-women's tag. And yeah, I think Damage Control just take the dub, and we set up for future events here and keep the story rolling.
Yeah, I probably have the same thing, that Damage Control will win the match. It's just too early to kind of kill them off, pretty much. Damage Control should win, and the expectations will be probably a 7, maybe 7.5.
And
So then, what's your prediction, Chris?
Oh, same thing, just Damage Control. It's going to be very... It won't be like the most exciting thing, but it'll be fine. So I'll give it like a 6 for expectations. Like, it's fine.
All right, now, this next match is one I'm very excited for. Seth Rollins, Riddle. I think these two are going to go out there, have a great in-ring competition. This is a tough match to predict here because you have Seth Rollins, right, who definitely needs a win right now because he basically lost the majority of the Edge feud. He lost multiple title opportunities earlier this year. He lost 3 times straight against Cody Rhodes. And and he lost the Money in the Bank. So Rollins, he is a 5-time world champion. He definitely is a made wrestler by this point, no matter how many times he loses. And you also got Riddle, who has this very serious side, going for him right now. We've never really seen how Riddle fights when he's angry. And yeah, that should be interesting. I think the story won't end here, but I think Seth Rollins is going to get the win. Again, I think it's going to continue, though. It could be a dirty win, but it could also be a clean win. But either way, I think Seth is going to get the win.
Yeah. So for me, this match should be really good. I'm probably going to give it to Seth Rollins too. I'm probably give this like an 8.5 expectation. And my biggest thing that I'm hoping this match is either 2 things. One, it's either Seth Rollins, he gets the win, and then after the match, he maybe curve stomps Riddle through cinder blocks. I would love to see that.
Like how he did to Dean Ambrose in 2014.
Yes, and I was there at that time, so it's fun.
I was there too. That was a good show.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see if they do that, or Riddle takes Randy's plays and does the RKO counter for the curve stomp. That would be good, but it kind of maybe a good passing the torch. Is it possible? I don't know if they're going to make a win with that, but it's just something to see if maybe it kind of makes sense because of Riddle with friends with Randy. It could be a good counter for the WrestleMania 31 thing happening. So, but I still give it to Seth, and it's going to be an 8.5 expectation for me.
I like your ideas. Right there. All right, so Chris, what's your thoughts on the match, and who do you think is going to win?
Honestly, it's going to be excellent. I give it a 9 for the expectation, and then honestly, I'm going to give it to Seth Rollins because he's been on a losing streak recently, and this will just build up more fuel for this feud between Seth and Riddle. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this ends here. I think they continue. Now the next match is another one I'm excited for here. I think it's going to be a pretty good tag team match. We got former tag team champions back from SmackDown 2002, Edge and Rey Mysterio. Back then, they were underdog baby faces on the come up. Now they're veterans and longtime good friends going up against the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Now, we could get some involvement here. We could get it from AJ Styles. I don't think we will get it from AJ Styles, but I'm mentioning the possibility of it. And I think this match will be pretty good, though. I think Balor and Priest and Rhea have definitely been developed more over the past month or so. They definitely have become one of the bigger focuses in WWE, and rightfully so. I think the Judgment Day are a great group, and I don't think we should kill off that steam. I think we should keep it rolling. And I think even if it's by some dirty shenanigans, I think the Judgment Day should win, and they will win. And how will they win? I think a lot of people are mentioning the possibility of Dominic Mysterio turning heel and turning on his father, Rey. Here's the thing. If you're going to do the heel turn, it should be on Saturday. I think it will be on Saturday. And if it does not happen on Saturday, I don't think we're going to be getting a heel turn from them, maybe ever. This is now or never, is how I see it. Judgment Day take the win here.
Yeah, for me, this is great. And technically for this, Chris, you got your wish with Edge and Rey tag teaming again. So that's one thing. But this match should be great. I'm going to give this to Judgment Day. Judgment Day should be on a big roll right now. And my expectation is an 8, mainly because I'm waiting to see a betrayal. My prediction for a betrayal, weirdly enough, will be probably the distraction by Rhea then Dominic grabs a chair, hits Rey Mysterio, his father, right in the back, and then the Finn Balor wins by the match. That's how I see it probably ending, in my opinion. But expectation is an 8, Judgment Day winning, and betrayal.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be 8 again. Like you said before, Brimman, Judgment Day needs to be on the roll. And I don't blame Dominic for doing what he's got to do, because I would probably do the same in a heartbeat. So I'm going to give it an 8. Thank you.
I see. Is that for Rhea Ripley?
No.
That means yes.
All right. Now, next match, SmackDown Women's Championship match, Liv Morgan versus Shayna Basler. Now, this might look like the weakest match in the card, but I actually don't think it's that bad. I like the story that they got going on, especially the little clips WWE have released on their social media page of like Liv Morgan, getting trained by Riddle on how to escape certain submission holds and do certain moves and stuff like that. Pretty cool. And yeah, I think you're doing a lot for Liv. And here's the thing though, I could see them building Shayna back up again. I would love to see Shayna win the championship, and if I was booking it, I think she should win the championship, and we could get that Ronda versus Shayna match. I think that is more interesting than Ronda and Liv, but I do have to acknowledge Liv and Ronda do have that unfinished business that they do have to attend to. So I think they are going to put the belt on Shayna soon. I just don't think it'll be at Cardiff this Saturday. So I'm going to have Liv Morgan retain here.
For me, this match is going to be great. It's going to be interesting to me. My expectations is a 7. And main thing, and I'm going to give it to Shayna because I want Shayna Baszler to win. The main thing I'm expecting right now is probably Shayna Baszler just to break Liv Morgan's arm. And that's the only thing I'm going to probably want to see. If that's the case, I think Shayna Baszler will win. So expectation is a 7, and that's all.
Yeah, it's just going to be average at best, so I'm going to give it a 5.
Damn, you have no belief in this one.
Nope. This is the bathroom break match.
Damn. See, yeah, I think these two are at least decent at what they do, so I think this will be a good match, personally. But, yeah, who you got winning and why?
Maybe Liv Morgan, because I feel like she has her whole story, and she's probably going to turn heel after her pathetic tapping out to Ronda
Ronda.
last time. Yeah,
I feel like the thing that sucks about that was we all knew the intention was to turn Ronda heel, but that just completely backfired. And if anything, kind of turned her into someone actually likable by the fans, which is really funny.
So Liv Morgan will lose that championship belt soon enough, unless they find somebody more popular than her. Maybe Alexis Bliss or something.
Again, I can see her dropping the belt to either Ronda or Shayna. I just don't think it'll be at Cardiff.
No.
Okay. Now this next match is the main event. This is the main match everybody is going to be tuning in on Saturday for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the champion, Roman Reigns, versus the challenger, Drew McIntyre. Now. Roman has officially been champion for 2 years. This is the longest World Championship title reign we have had since Hulk Hogan, which was 1984 to 1988, a 4-year title reign. So Roman Reigns, along with this title reign, has defeated the likes of Jey Uso multiple times, Kevin Owens multiple times, Bryan Danielson and Edge multiple times, John Cena, Brock Lesnar multiple times, Finn Balor, and more. He beat Big E as well. Point being is that Roman, these past 2 years, has been unstoppable. And Roman Reigns, since 2019, December 2019, he has not been pinned or submitted. So that is almost 3 years without taking a pin or submission loss to anybody. So this is the thing. There's the Cody crowd. There's the Johnny Gargano crowd. There's the Drew McIntyre crowd. And why does the Drew McIntyre crowd exist? Well, here's the thing. Drew McIntyre went through a lot to become a pro wrestler. And when he got there, he was viewed as someone who was the chosen one, but he wasn't fully established yet. So despite everything, he got fired in 2014 when, there was no more use of him. And between 2014 and 2017, he found himself. And he found who he was as a main eventer. And he found his look. He overall got more muscle definition. He in general looked like a main event player. WWE wanted him back. Drew didn't hit up WWE. WWE hit up him to come back in 2017. He had that little run in NXT. Sure, it ended in a tragic injury, but he had a nice little run there. He came up in 2018, and for the first year and a half, he kind of was, struggling to get that main event spot. But then, out of nowhere, January 2020, Magic hit. He won the Royal Rumble match. He was on an absolute nonstop victory streak and lead into WrestleMania to go on and fight Brock Lesnar. And he was going to get this big moment in front of a bunch of fans, accomplish his dream. But then a pandemic happened. And thanks to that pandemic happening, WrestleMania 36 was in a completely empty arena. Drew McIntyre beat Brock Lesnar in an empty arena. He became the WWE champion. He won the Royal Rumble, but he didn't accomplish the other part of the dream, which was it happening in front of people. And generally, two-time champion. He had his ups and downs. He had his downs when Orton beat him for the title in 2020, but he came back up and took it from him. And, he's beaten tons of other guys like Goldberg and, tons of other people in general to just establish himself as, a force to be reckoned with in the company. Roman fought Drew 2 years ago at Survivor Series 2020 in the champion versus champion showdown. And Roman, thanks to the help of the Usos, beat Drew. Now, here we are. It's been a year and a half since Drew has been a world champion. Drew had to go through a war with one of his best friends, Sheamus, recently to get the right to battle Roman Reigns. And simply put, this is a stadium. Nearly as many people as there would be at a WrestleMania. We got Drew McIntyre basically gain a chance at a redo to accomplish his dream. Now, Roman Reigns has stopped a lot of dreams. He has stopped a lot of people. But when I have a gut feeling that something's going to happen, I have a gut feeling something's going to happen. I love Roman Reigns. He is one of my favorite wrestlers, not just in the past few years, but of all time. This run in the past 2 years will go down as one of the greatest championship runs of all time. And if it was up to me, I would test the waters and let him beat Hogan's run. But I know this generation doesn't have the patience for anybody to hold a belt for 4 years. It could be Kenny Omega. No one would let him hold the belt for 4 years. That is just the truth of the situation. Overall, though, 2 years, greatest run in since the 80s, undeniably, for any belt. Overall, though, I think Drew is going to get his moment. And what about Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is going to get his moment at WrestleMania. Here's the thing about Cody Rhodes, right? His story isn't about defeating Roman. His story is about being the champion. He doesn't have to beat Roman to do that. He can beat anybody else at WrestleMania for that title, and it'll be okay. It doesn't matter if Drew gets a long run out of this. It's a redo. And with Karrion in the background, with Austin Theory with the briefcase, again, I think we could be looking at a few short reigns after the long 2-year reign we've had. So yes, that basically gives it away, folks. Drew McIntyre is going to be defeating Roman Reigns and becoming your new, undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
Yeah, this match would be great. Definitely should be a 9 or 9.5. And I'm going to stick with you, Danny, too. I'm going to do Drew McIntyre. But a good question for you, Danny. Do you think Austin Theory is going to try and cash in?
So for a while, I kind of figured, what if Drew wins and Theory cashes in? I've been saying it ever since Theory won the briefcase. This is my issue, though. I don't think they built up Theory enough for him to do that yet. So I'm actually thinking they wait and build him up for like 6 months to 9 months. Or he drops the briefcase to Gargano in a feud somehow. One or the other. I think the cash-in does not happen anymore in Cardiff.
It could be. And there is a small possibility that maybe what is going to happen is going to be a failed cash-in. If anything, at Cardiff could be what same thing as it's called Baron Corbin, where he cashes in and he completely fails.
Like Drew basically Claymore Theory and kill. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, it's just a complete fail, and that's a good possibility to say, "Hey, I run the yard now." A good statement when say, "Hey, you have money in bank. I don't care. I'm going to still Claymore you." So I'd still say Drew McIntyre is going to win, but maybe a fail cash in that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I just feel like right now, since they're doing that thing with Gargano, I don't think they're going to do anything with the briefcase on this show.
Yeah, I do Drew McIntyre, and I give it a 9 or 9.5. Chris?
Honestly, I'm hoping that Drew McIntyre takes the title. All up to Roman, but Danny was right about one thing. And I understand people don't have patience, but I especially don't. Like, title holders should not be more than 2 years. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't get stale very quickly and make your opponent, like, way too powerful.
You definitely would not have survived back then.
I would have fucking hated it. I mean, Super Cena was bad. We don't need Super Roman.
Like, I don't know though. It's just like I feel like he could be hold. I feel like Roman can hold the title for 2 more years. I feel like he can, but that's just me.
And I think maybe Chris's idea with this is that right now Roman's a part-time champion, and that's the point. I think I'm going to give it why Roman Reigns should lose. That he is a part-time champion. He should just lose the championship and go to Hollywood, so he can leave it to better people. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Karrion Kross mainly. I'm going to give it that big thing for me, Karrion Kross. I just want him to win and hold that championship for a year, to be completely honest. But I would love, that's probably what Chris is probably coming to.
Again, though, I personally like long title reigns because if you're able to have a long title reign, it showcases that you were dominant as a champion. You were able to say what you did as a champion because many wrestlers will constantly say, "Oh, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to do this." But if you have someone who does that shit for years, it makes them literally look legitimate as fuck.
Very true. And then also, too, one last thing I'd like to have before we move on to the next segment. If Drew McIntyre doesn't win, then I'm hoping Kevin Owens does it. Because remember, he mentioned that he wanted a shot with his boss like a week ago.
He did.
So
but
I'm thinking that might happen.
I think KO's going to unite with Sammy and dethrone the Usos instead.
Ooh, that would be interesting, too. That would kick so much ass.
I think that's actually the route they're going to go.
Good betrayal. That's maybe the plan.
I think we could be looking at the beginning of the end of the bloodline if he does lose. Which I'm not a fan of at all, but I can see it happening.
They'll be fine, Daniel. It's time for the Usos to die.
Yeah, right.
Not for real, though.
You know, a fun fact.
Oh, no.
The Usos are also about to go down as the longest reigning tag team champions in history.
I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to press
it already did.
down.
I think it already did.
Not in my canon, it's not.
It's new year.
Well, are you guys ready to move on to WWE/NXT/NXT UK Worlds Collide 2020?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
The last show before NXT Europe, and what were you saying, Berman?
It's a yes and no.
Yes and no. Oh dear. Well, I'm going to let you talk about it first. Chris will give his predictions second, and I'll be going last on this NXT one, folks, because Berman is the one who knows most about NXT UK. So why not let him give y'all some context on some of these storylines, predictions, and we'll give our predictions as well.
Yeah, all right. So first match, which it makes sense to be the first match to pop up, is the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, which really should be just unified with the one on the main roster right now, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be K&K or Kaylee Kanazaro and Kara Cross, I think her name is. I can't remember her full name. They just won the titles in a fatal four-way tag team match 2 weeks ago, and Nikki ASH versus Doudrop. So it's going to be interesting. And the big thing about the K&K is that they have been working for this for years, and they couldn't, but now they are. So it's kind of like a dream for them to be this. So that's their kind of thinking. I'm not expecting that much with this match just because of how NXT is working. It is on only if they change it to the black and gold again, I'm hoping. But if that's the case, I give this probably a 6 at most, and I want K&K to win and continue their dream. I like their finishers, so that's all I have to say with this one.
And honestly, I want to be honest here. I don't really keep up with NXT, but I will try my best to predict as best as I can because I do know a few of these wrestlers. So I guess for the first match, I don't like Nikki ASH whatsoever. I dislike her character. It's real bad, and I could care less. And Doudrop that's a joke too. And overall, I think this match is going to be like a 4 out of 10. This is going to be my bathroom break for the NXT round.
I actually would agree with you on this one because I'm not expecting that much just because of this new era of NXT 2.0. It's just dumb. Only until they make it black and gold again. I'm not expecting a lot for this match. I just gave it a little pity point of just 1 to 6 just because I felt maybe something might happen.
And you, Daniel?
Well, so I'm assuming K&K for both you guys, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I agree. I don't see Nikki ASH and Doudrop taking the belts here. I see them breaking up sometime soon. And yes, I agree with you 100%, Berman. Both the women's tag belts should be unified. Yeah, I think this will be average. I don't think hell, it could be bad. I'm not going to say it won't be, but it could be good. We don't know what we're getting here. That's kind of what makes me nervous. So
Yeah.
now let's move on to the NXT North American Championship match.
Yeah, this is gonna be actually probably one of the most anticipated matches for another one. Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet, the older NXT North American champion. Wait, no, he actually hasn't been North American champion. No, wait, no, he has.
No, yeah, Ricochet was.
Yeah, I totally forgot for specific. It has been a long time since I have seen Ricochet in the freaking NXT. So, but it should be a great match. Definitely a 9, probably one of the best matches. And I actually would love to see Ricochet win and maybe stay in NXT for a little while and go back to his roots. If NXT again, I'm going to restate this every time, probably every match, that they are doing a black and gold to bring him back black and gold. If they don't, I'd probably rather not have Ricochet there. But it would be good to see him back, even if. So I give it to Ricochet, and definitely a 9 for this match.
And honestly, same here. Anything with Ricochet, since he's been pushed so back, but at least in NXT, I can feel like he can show his true self as of right now. And who's going to take it? I'm hoping Ricochet takes it because he's not really doing anything in the main roster, and this might give some legitimate seats in the NXT championship. So I'm going to give it a 9 for the expectation. So I'm thinking it's going to be the best match in this card.
It will definitely be the best match in this card, and I actually have a hot take here. I think it'll be the best match of the weekend.
Cap.
So, yeah, I think this match is going to go super hard. Carmelo Hayes, definitely a main event player of the future. Do not sleep on him, and don't sleep on this match, y'all. Don't sleep on this match. Seriously, this could be something amazing here. Now this is what I'm going to say to you guys about the Ricochet thing. I get your point about Ricochet, but recently he has been kind of pushed on SmackDown. You know, he's been on every single week, getting wins, a streak of wins recently, and overall, I think just give WWE some time. You know, Triple H has only been around for a month. Give him some time, and I think Ricochet, I feel like he's a pretty needed presence on SmackDown. I feel like he definitely brings that high flying energy that SmackDown, should have for sure. And I get it. I get you guys really want NXT black and I get it, right? I get it. But we got to remember here, WWE, that the two most important shows in WWE are Raw and SmackDown. Those are the two that get the most views. Those are the two that have been around the longest. And those are the two with the most main roster talent. So I love Ricochet, but the future here needs to be established. And as Carmelo Hayes, Ricochet will still do his thing. Ricochet will still be Ricochet. I'm going to have Carmelo Hayes retain here.
It's completely fair. I think it's okay to have that, but it's just that I want back the black and gold. And to be honest, yes, they are true that Raw and SmackDown are their premier shows. This is NXT is what it should be, a developmental show. It is supposed to be showing the future of wrestling, but not the future of Nickelodeon. It's like right now with how it's going, it's always Nickelodeon. It does not make sense. It's just they need legitimacy. They need someone to say, "Hey, NXT is a better brand now than NXT 2.0." That's all I'm going to say right now.
No, I get what you mean. But my whole thing is Carmelo Hayes was around since Black and Gold. So if anything, he's not even really a 2.0 guy, despite how much they try to say he's a 2.0 guy. So it is. I think personally, there's a lot they can have out of Carmelo. I really think so. I think he really is a guy that can be huge for them.
Yeah, that is completely fine. Oh, that's okay. If we're nothing else to say, let's go up to the next match. The next match is elimination tag team match. A fatal, like a 1, 2,
Yep, fatal four-way.
five-way. Yeah, an elimination fatal 5-way match for the NXT. I think it's a 5-way. I thought it was 1, 2. Yeah, 4-way. I was like, I'm done. Can't count. No. NXT UK Tag Team Championships Unification. NXT and NXT UK Unification. The current champions are Creed Brothers and the freaking the Rednecks. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't like them. Pretty Deadly and Gallus, which to me this is actually will be interesting. I love the Creed Brothers. I've been a big total fans of them. I love how their wrestling style is. Hillbillies, not going to talk about them. Don't care about them. Pretty Deadly, I love them. They were the third. They were the third NXT champions to crowned, and then Gallus, who is the longest reigning NXT champions, and they were their second. They were the second people to hold those titles. For this match, it should be great for how many people are there, except the Rednecks. I would give this a 7.5. I would love to have either Creed Brothers win or the Gallus. But to be perfectly honest, I want Gallus to win because I love him a lot more. I'm impartial to NXT UK right now, so I want Gallus to win for this. So definitely a 7.5 for this one.
And I'll give you on this one, Bourbon. For what I seen mostly, I'm not too familiar with the UK Tag Team Champions, but I think I may have seen a few matches with Gallus and no, just Gallus. Yeah, that's right. I'm tripping.
Yeah, you
I bet
have. You have.
I have. So I guess just for that sole reason, hopefully he wins because he's the only guy I'm familiar with. So, but he wrestled real good, so I'm gonna probably give this an 8. You can't go wrong with this.
For sure. Yeah, it's going to be a huge stacked match. I'm going to go from least likely to most likely. I think the current UK champions, Brooks and Briggs, they're not winning. I think they're going to probably be the first team out, actually, of this entire match.
And they really should.
I think second to be eliminated. Here's the thing. I think Pretty Deadly are going to have heel heat throughout the match. As much as I like the idea of Gallus winning, I don't think they are going to win here. I don't think Pretty Deadly are going to win either. So I have a few predictions here on how this will play out. Who will win from NXT UK? Who will win from NXT? This may be a bit of a spoiler. This is going to be my only win from the NXT side of things against the UK. I believe the NXT champions, the Creed brothers, are just going to add the UK titles to their resume, and they are going to be the unified tag team champions. So I'm giving it to the Creed brothers.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. I love Creed Brothers. To me, I just love how fun they are. But I'm always impartial to NXT UK guys, so I always give it to Gallus. And I'm completely,
That's fair.
and I completely understand. Yeah, I completely understand the freaking Rednecks. I'm gonna call them Rednecks because I just hate them. They should not have those fucking titles. I'm always pissed at them every time I see them. I always get pissed off. So I just hate them right now. So I want to let's just go on to the next match before I get more heated against these two guys.
Well, real quick, I haven't been watching in a while, but what happened to Carter and Smith?
Sorry, Smith got injured. So right now Carter's a solo right now.
Damn. Okay.
He had a leg injury. So right now they are not, and that's how Brooks, the Rednecks, got their championships. They had a fatal 4-way match, and they won the match. No, wait, yeah, they won the match, and it pisses me off every time I think about that. So
yeah, because like in match with Nash and Carter instead of these two, this match would have been nuts.
Yes, it would have been nuts. I'm probably hoping that those two come back if the NXT era accepts them. I would love them to come back and win those titles back. They should. So if there's nothing else to say, let's go on to a pretty great match. So if there's nothing else, let's go to NXT UK and NXT Unification match, a triple threat match to unify the championships. The current NXT champion, Mandy Rhodes, the current NXT UK champion, Meiko Satomura, and the number one contender for Satomura's championship, Blair Davenport. This is a great match. I'm going to give this an 8 for anything surprising for me. I think this women's match should be great, mainly because of Mako. Now, this is always something controversial because of this new NXT era, and mainly because of Mako being the top star women's, probably one of the best women's competitors of the world. No one compares to her. There's a lot of things to me that I really don't want to see Mako in this type of NXT. And it's perfectly honest for me. I would rather, right now, I love Mako no matter what, but I would probably want Blair Davenport to win. I love Blair Davenport in general. So I would probably want Blair Davenport to win this match, and I'll give this an 8 expectation.
And honestly, I'll do the same. I would probably give it an 8 amongst myself too, just because for the fact that I've seen Mandy Rose perform, and I'm honestly shocked that they're gonna get the UK and the American NXT to like collab at least one last time before they separate with NXT Europe or whatnot. So it's gonna be great. So just to keep it simple, I'm gonna give it 7.5.
All right, so you both got the same prediction, Blair Davenport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree. Here's why. I think Mandy she has expressed, not liking the fact that she went back to NXT in the first place. I think she's going to lose the championship. She's had a very long reign, and I think she's going to lose the championship to, set up her going back up to the main roster. And as for Miiko, she is a veteran of 27 years in this business. I don't think we have a lot of time with her left. So personally, I can see her either, go into the NXT, division to, spice that up, or go to the main roster. Both Mandy and Miiko go to the main roster, and you still continue to, boost that women's division for what you got on both Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, but I do think they have put a lot of focus into Blair Davenport. And funny enough, Blair's been the one person that people have been predicting the least to win this match. And I think that is the biggest reason she's going to win this match, because she is the one dark horse pick. She's the one nobody expects because, the other two are already champions and she's not. But that's the thing. She's not the champion. Why did she get to be in this match? Yes, she was the number one contender, so she was added. But point being is, why would they add a non-champion to a unification match in the first place? To probably win both belts. So I think Blair is going to become the double champ here. And that is she's kind of the in-between of, an American star and the UK star. So you can't really say it's a win for either NXT America or the UK,
Yeah, completely true. And another interesting fact that if Mako Satomura and Blair Davenport had a match before, they had 2 matches. The last match they had, Blair Davenport probably could have won it, but because Blair Davenport got an injury to her leg, she couldn't. So this is kind of a good redemption for her. So interesting fact on there. Let's go to the main event, which should be a pretty good match between 2 great champions. And I'm actually really excited for this one just because of these two. In NXT and NXT UK Championship Unification, Braun Breaker, NXT Champion current, and Tyler Bates, NXT UK Champion, the first ever 2-time NXT Champion. And this should be great. I'm going to give this actually probably a 9 because I feel like how good they will do it. And I'm going to give it to Tyler Bate. I love Tyler Bate. I don't give any disrespect to Braun Breaker. It's just that I think he just should go to the main roster and just be there. I think for him, he just doesn't live a lot for me. I watched a lot of his matches. Some of the matches are good, and he just very stale, very simple finishers and stuff. His spear is great, but I just don't like some of his matches sometimes. So I'm gonna give it to Tyler Bates because I'm hoping in the future of NXT, I'm hoping that Jordan Devlin pretty much takes that championship, the NXT championship, away from those two. And that's all I have to say on this one.
And then I know people were shitting on mostly Braun Breaker for like the past couple of months now or so, but he's improved quite a bit. I mean, yes, his mic skills aren't the greatest, but that can improve with time. And then Tyler Bate, as the current NXT UK champion, he's excellent. I saw a couple of matches here and there on YouTube and the Squared Circle on Reddit, so I'm thinking this will definitely. It won't be the greatest match, but it's going to be like the second best. So I'll give it an 8. It's going to be good. Okay.
And it should be interesting.
Well, what would you think the show is overall rated, Berman, for the NXT side of things?
See, for this, give this maybe an 8, 7.5, because I have no idea, just want to know if it's going to go back to the black and gold right now. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
That's true. And then as for I'll give it a 6 because it's going to be great. And you, Daniel, what would you give overall NXT pay-per-view
Oh well,
altogether?
I didn't make predictions for Braun Baker, Tyler Bate,
That's too
but
bad.
I'm going to say shut up. I'm gonna say that if Braun wins, bro, if Braun fucking wins, all right, Tyler Bate better win this. I'm hoping this is a great match. I think it will be a great match if done right. But yeah, I think Tyler Bate deserves winning the title, the double title. So yeah, the UK champion. Yeah, so you get the UK win, which will be from Tyler Bate, the NXT win from the Creed brothers, then the in-between win with Blair Davenport. Therefore, both sides kind of win. And overall, great show. Well, good show. I think it'll be a good show. Will it be as beefy as Clash or All Out? No, but I think it'll still be a good show, and I'm going to tune in. And we'll be reviewing it on this channel sometime soon. So overall, 7 out of 10 expectation. And now, you guys ready to dive into AEW All Out?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, Chris, I'll actually be letting you begin since I began WWE and Berman began the NXT.
It's time for me to shine. So, starting off with the first match is AEW's All Atlantic Championship match, Pac versus Keep Sabine. Or Sabine. However the fuck you
Kip
pronounce
Sabian.
it. Sabian. Thank you, Bermy. Overall, I don't know anything about Kip Sabian except that he was Boxman for like 5+ months. And Pac usually delivers. But overall, I'm going to give it a 6 because I don't really know what to expect. I mean, Pac always delivers, so hopefully Keep Sabine does good. And he
Kip Sabian.
keeps, damn it. I'll kill you. This is why I can't go first. God damn. But anyways, I'm giving it a 6 for the expectations because I don't know what to expect. So 6.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, we're predicting based off what I think the card order will be. The first 3 matches we're talking about right now are from the 0 hour pre-show, which begins at 4. Then the other 11 matches begins at 5.
I'm going to die this weekend.
Yeah, we are. If you combine All Out and Clash, Chris, that's 20 matches.
I'm going to die. Okay, Danny, what's your predictions for this match?
All right, now I think that I think it should be a fun little return for Kip. I think it's a good way to set up a return for him. He's not anything too special. He had that little partnership from Miro, got betrayed, and kind of vanished last year during the pandemic. Now, yeah, he has been doing the box gimmick for quite a while. But again, he is underrated, underappreciated. That's his whole little gimmick. But I don't think he's winning the belt here. I think Pac just is getting started. So, yeah, I think Pac winning here makes the most sense. Yeah, that's all I can really say. I think we'll get a good match, though. Nothing spectacular, but I think we'll get something good.
Yeah. And so for me, I know a few things about it. There's one, but for me, I think Pac is going to win. Pac is great, and I think after Pac, it should be probably Alistair.
Ooh.
Because
Pac. Okay.
Because he's from the Netherlands, so it makes more sense from Euro. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be a great rivalry match. So definitely expectations. I mean, definitely give this around 7-2.
And then
for
the next one, guys, is the Hook. Oh, I'm sorry, the FTW Championship match, Hook versus Angelino Parker. This match is gonna suck, so therefore I'm gonna give it a 4.
Jeez.
because this is a joke. We discussed this earlier on the top 10 things we changed about AEW. And quite frankly, we know damn well who's going to win this match. Let's not kid ourselves. So this is a waste of time and space. So, 4.
Yeah, honestly, I think Angelo Parker, cool hands, has a very solid chance of winning the. Nah, who the fuck am I kidding? Hook is winning this match in quick fashion.
Yeah. It's probably the same thing. It's probably going to be a 4. I'm going to give Chris, it's going to be a 10-second match. My thing, I was hoping for this FTW thing is after this whole thing that Hook is there and they maybe make this FTW championship more like a Money in Bank briefcase that you can just cash in for a championship. That's the only thing I'm hoping for this championship right now.
Honestly. And now the next match is going to be a bit controversial because I'm probably going to be the black sheep. And that is Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii for the 0 hour. And this match, I'm not looking forward to. Their last match was boring. It was nothing but slap chops for the majority of the match. It was a joke. And I bet you the same damn thing is going to happen this time. So this is my bathroom break match. And it should have just been Sammy in the first place. But they had a fight. God damn it. What a waste of a space. So therefore, this shit's going to get a 5. Okay, your turn.
Absolute disagree. Absolute disagree.
This man is
Now,
capping.
I got a question for you.
Shoot.
I think you're seriously a Sammy Guevara fan.
I'm not a
Are
Sammy
you?
Guevara fan. I just don't like these two fighting because literally they're doing the same damn thing with
But
slap
do you
chops.
really think Sammy and Eddie were going to have good chemistry? Like, if we're logically thinking about it.
Maybe. It could have been fun. It would have been better than this crap we're about to get. They did this already.
Crap. Hey, your crap might be one of my matches of the year, son.
Then that's a shitty match of the year then, sir.
Nah, cap. Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston is going to be an absolute hit. And it's going to be one of the best matches this weekend. And it's only going to be on the 0 hour. Eddie Kingston gets the win, is my prediction.
I'm sticking with Danny's with me. I love this match. It's going to be a freaking amazing match. Tomohiro Ishii and Eddie Kingston are great together. It's going to be interesting. I love them. I would give it to Eddie Kingston, but I'm an Ishii fan, so I'm going to give it to Ishii. And I am. It's definitely going to be a 9 for expectation.
All right. So, main show now.
Let's get it. So we have the casino ladder match between Rey Fenix, Pentagon, Rush, Andrade, Dante, Will Yuta, Claudio versus the Joker. Now, overall, this is going to be awesome, but I'm kind of scared for this because either that Joker card is going to be MJF or it's going to be Sammy Guevara, and I'm terrified at this fact. And if I had to guess who wins this, depending on who the Joker is, they'll probably most likely get the shot. But personally, I would like to see Will Yuta get that extra push so he can finally reclaim and become the better champion that he's well deserving of. So this is going to be a 9 out of 10 for me. So go ahead, Daniel. Take it.
All right. I have an interesting thing to say. When you look at all these competitors, this is going to be a great ladder match. Am I right?
Beautiful.
But there's one issue I have personally. Everyone except for Dante Martin in this match are in teams, if you think about it. Now, maybe it's not as big of an issue, but for me, it's kind of a bit odd. I don't know. Now, the Joker spot. Yes, it could be MJF, but I don't think it will be. I don't think MJF returns in this style. So, for this match, it could also be Sammy Guevara. But this person we haven't seen since Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor show in July. I think we are going to be getting Samoa Joe. And I think if it is Samoa Joe, he is going to win the match. And we will be getting Samoa Joe fighting a certain someone at Grand Slam. But we'll get to that later. Now, if the Joker isn't Samoa Joe and it's just Sammy or someone kind of just random, I think we are going to give the win here to Claudio. Or, actually, no, I take that back because he's the Ring of Honor champion. I think we're not going to put him in a match, in a one-on-one match to lose. If he loses in a ladder match, it makes more sense. That's fair. So, the more and more I'm looking at it here, I backtrack on the Claudio statement. I think we're actually going to surprise people here. I think they're going to give a win to Dante Martin. Does he win the title match he has? No. But I think he gets a huge win here, and it kind of puts himself out there more. So I'm actually going to give the prediction here to Dante Martin if the Joker is not someone of importance. If it is, who I think it is, I think Samoa Joe is winning this match.
Yeah. For me, this is going to be interesting. It should be a great match. Definitely expectations of a 9. The Joker sounds interesting to be MJF or Samoa, but another one could, and I have the idea of maybe Brian Cage. And it sounds interesting to see. So if there's someone in relevancy, I'll probably pick Joker. But if it's not someone relevant, I'm actually going to go for Andrade. So that's my pick for this one.
All right. Interesting here. So, yeah, I love Wariuda, but I did think about that too. I did think he could get a win here, but if Mox wins, I think Yuta should win. But if Punk wins, I don't think Yuta should win. So it really depends on that.
There we go again. CM Punk burying another young talent just for his own selfishness.
Oh, man.
What a surprise.
Next match, Chris, what would that be?
It's going to be Warlord and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, before we begin, Perfect, did you hear our podcast last week? By any chance, did you finish it while you were in space?
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you have to hear what Daniel said about your boys?
It pissed me off a little bit.
So, I will keep it short and simple. I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing ever, but I know who the Motor City Machine Guns are, and they do come clutch time and time again, and they're not the worst guys ever. So they put technical classics after one another. They're comparable to the Young Bucks, but not quite there. So for the match alone, I think it's going to be above average. It's going to be a 7. But I don't know if they're going to be signed with AEW, because if they are, they're most likely going to push the Rampage, which kind of sucks. But I get it. Okay, Daniel. Let's see what you got to say.
Now. This is interesting. Now, if we're looking on paper, obviously, Motor City Machine Guns are going to be better than what would have been Samir Singh and Sanjay Dutt. That match would have really sucked. Now, I'm going to explain my hostility a bit towards this decision to bring in the Motor City Machine Guns. I've been annoyed with Tony Khan still to this day signing people when we have so much talent complain about lack of TV time. Now we're going to bring in another tag team. Like, it seems so over the top and ridiculous and unnecessary, in my opinion. I think we could have taken like a heel tag team and easily could have filled it in, Jay Lethal's partner slots instead of having to go out of our way and bring out yet another tag team. That's my whole personal opinion. And yes, Chris, I do see them in a very similar lane to the Young Bucks, and you guys know exactly how I feel about the Young Bucks. So that kind of gives away how I feel about Motor City Machine Guns as well. Not a fan. Overall, though, I don't think this match will be the worst, but I'm not that excited for it. I think Wardlow and FTR do take the win, though.
Yeah, so for me, I actually love the Motor City Machine Guns. And I know I get your hostility. They could have done probably a better guess if Motor City Machine Guns could have not done there. would have been the Gates of Agony from Ring of Honor, because it makes sense with Jay Lethal, and it kind of makes more sense.
With the Ring of Honor signing, yeah, it would make sense.
It would make sense for the Gates of Agony to do it. But to me, I love the Morris City Machine Guns. It's a great, unexpected to see them. And another thing, I don't think they're signed with signed with AEW because of some on the picture. It says right next to their name.
Oh yeah,
Impact.
they're borrowing them from Impact. Yeah.
So I think it's more like a partnership. It may be going back into the partnership with Impact and AEW, which I do love seeing like a nice partnership. It was interesting back there. So that's what I'm thinking. And for me, my expectations is going to be a 7. And I would probably say Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns will win this match.
All right.
All right.
Hey, you owe me a soda. So for match number 3, now it's gonna be the AEW TBS Championship match between Jade Cargill and Athena. Now, guys, this is what's gonna break the women's division for me, depending on who wins this match. Because if Jade does not
Make
lose,
or break match.
it's gonna be make or break. Thank you, Daniel. If Athena doesn't win this title, I'm done with women's wrestling, at least on AEW, because it just shows to me nothing is gonna change. If Athena can't beat Jade,
Jeez.
no one's gonna do it at this point, because no one's
That's
been
not
built up at this point, Daniel. Because at this rate, Athena's literally been the only opponent against Jade that's actually somewhat of a threat, and she's barely shown on television as it is. So I'm hoping Athena takes the win, and if she does it, I'm scared, man, because literally I just don't care anymore. So the
You
expectation
know
is
why?
it's gonna be like 5.
You know why I'm scared as well?
Why?
Do you see enough people talking about Athena compared to Jade Cargill?
Yes. Yes, all the time. Well, actually, no one's talking about Athena.
Exactly
Oh
my
my
point.
God, she's gonna lose no, she's gonna lose.
Listen, y'all. I love Athena, and I think Athena is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and she deserves to be treated as one of the best wrestlers in the world. But Triple H didn't see her as that when she fought Asuka. She lost. And history is going to repeat itself.
No.
Tony Khan is another promoter who just doesn't see Athena or Ember Moon or whoever you want to call her as the top in her division. And that's upsetting because, in my opinion, she is the best wrestler in all of AEW for the woman. But I don't think she has had the proper built up just yet to be someone who takes down an undefeated streak such as Jade Cargill's, especially when Jade has beaten names like Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, frickin' Ty Conti. You can go on with it. Jade has established herself as basically the end-all be-all, final boss, essentially, for the women's division. I don't think they built up Athena to be that chick that can take her down, unfortunately. I would love her to, and I think she should. And if I was going based off who I want to win, I would give it to Athena. But I'm going with my brain here. And my brain is telling me Jade Cargill is retaining this title, and her time is not up yet as this undefeated TBS champion.
Yeah. So for me, Chris, this is your make or break match. For me, there's another match that makes or breaks the women's division, but we talk about that for myself. For me, I hope to fucking God that Jade does not win. I want Athena to win, and that's all I have to say. I'm hoping that this should be a great match for anything else. It should be an 8.5. Athena will win.
Okay. All right. Good expectations there. Now, this next match should be very interesting. What do you got to say about it, Chris?
Well, Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm thinking personally, it's gonna be great because Ricky Starks is great too. Powerhouse Hobbs, Jesus Christ, Powerhouse Hobbs can also wrestle very well, and they have the little feud of where Hobbs basically blames Ricky Starks for they're losing. He doesn't see him anymore, so there's beef and there's heat behind this match, and for what it is, it's great. It's just down to the earth. It's just former friend versus friend, and they're both great performances. So overall, I'll give it a 7 for these guys.
Who you have winning?
Oh yeah, that's right. I think Hobbs. Shit. I think Hobbs is gonna end up winning. If he wants
Yeah,
that push, I want Hobbs to win.
I love Ricky Starks, but you notice how he's feuding with the Factory right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs is winning this. Oh god, yeah. And like, look at the entrance that they doing with Hobbs. Look at his presentation. That guy looks serious. I think they're pushing him towards the TNT title. Maybe him and Wardlow feud over it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. This will be a good, interesting grudge match. I'm definitely going to do a Powerhouse Hobbs to win this. Expectations, let's say 7 for me.
All right, now your next match, Chris.
It'll be AEW Tag Team Championship match. Swerve on a Glory versus the Acclaim. Why are they doing this match, Daniel and Berman?
Because they're friends and they like the Acclaim, so they want to give the Acclaim a championship match.
So we're literally not going to give it to FTR. And we're going to have FTR fight the Motor City Machine Cop. God damn it. Even though they're the trio belt. And they're only doing this just because the Acclaim saved them like that one time, like 3 weeks ago.
And you know what's even more wild about all that?
What?
This is their WrestleMania of the year.
Oh.
Like, just imagine this. Like, remember the RK Bro versus Usos beef earlier this year?
Yeah.
What if instead of, the two teams going to war, what if RK Bro was just like, you know what, Usos, we like you guys. We'll give you guys a title match. Like, what the fuck is that?
At least the rap might be kind of funny.
Maybe, man. I'm just gonna say that this is my bathroom break match, or either this or the frickin' Motor City Machine Guns one. That one or the other between those two.
Honestly, Savior. So overall, obviously, Swerve and Glory is not going to lose to Acclaim. I hope not. And overall, it's going to be just average. So I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 6. It could be decent, but it could be a 5 as well. It's gonna be a mid match. Let's just call it like it is. Swerve and Our Glory is gonna retain. They're not fighting FTR just yet because I think they want to give Swerve and Our Glory a legit run, but it's not a legit run if they're fighting teams like the Acclaim and Ass Boys. I just want to put it out there. But I will say this: if the Acclaim does win and they feud with the Ass Boys for the belts, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it's not be surprising. I'll probably stick with you guys' pick too, Swerve and Our Glory. I love them myself. Yeah, they just need more better contenders. Either freaking the Young Bucks or the freaking Motor City Machine Guns or the freaking FTR. Like, they need some better competition than the Acclaim. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love the Acclaim. They're one of my favorite tag teams on the AEW. But like, it's just they needed someone better for this one. But I give this expectation a 6 for now.
Cool. And then for the next match, we have Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Now, these guys have been feuding for well over 3 months now. And honestly, the payout better be well worth it in this match because I'm getting kind of tired of it. And honestly, I think Jungle Boy should just drop his gimmick after this match if he wants to be taken seriously. Like, yeah, I love Jurassic Express and whatnot, but I think he's like outgrown that character at this point, and he should be like his own, use his own name or whatever, as they're building him as him to be this badass dude. So I think Jungle Boy's gonna take this, and it's gonna be an 8 for me.
All right, you know what? I think it's going to be a great match. I think the story's been great. I think some of the promos have been great. There are a few bumps in the road, of course, but overall, it's been great. And yeah, Jungle Boy is one of the best in-ring competitors AEW has. And Christian Cage is a veteran. He's great as well. There is no reason for me to think this match would be bad. Personally, I think, like I said, we have Hobbs winning it in one betrayal story. I think the other betrayal story has the good guy win. I think Jungle Boy beats Christian, and Christian puts over a younger talent in Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy can use this win more. So Yeah, I expect Jungle Boy to win in what could be one of the greatest matches of the night. I think this probably has the most heat out of all the matches on the card, if we're being quite honest here. So, yeah, it's another good reason why I can be excited for this match. So, yeah, Jungle Boy.
Yeah, so for me, this should be a great match. Expectations is 100% an 8.5. The rivalry has been great. The promos has been freaking like brutal. Like I love the roast and pretty much how brutal these two are against each other. But definitely say Jungle Boy should win this, and I agree with Chris too that Jungle Boy should change his name or change his style and change it into like this more adult type of character, and maybe just use his regular name or uses like a new persona. I'm hoping after this match. So definitely an 8.5 for this and Jungle Boy winning.
And then for the next match, guys. Sorry, I spaced out for a hot second. Don't mind me, I'm dying. Just like the pay-per-views. So, match 7 is House of Black versus Darby, Sting, and Miro. Now, I'm really pissed off that they couldn't make it to the trios match, and that's bullshit of how the Dark Order took over just because Adam is going to be in it. But anyway, I will save that. This match is going to be great. But at this rate, the House of Black better win. Because if they lose this goddamn match to Darby Allin, no hit against Sting, but Sting is like 80 years old and barely does anything. And he's bringing Darby Allin down when he should be pushed up. And Miro's the GOAT. So it's going to be 8. But if they lose, just break up the House of Black because they're a fucking joke at this point. And they're not a threat to anybody but themselves. Go fight the Varsity Blondes.
Exaggeration.
No, go fight with the Varsity Blondes like you did last time for a year. Just go.
No. You see, I think that House of Black win, but I think on the other team there's some kind of betrayal that goes on. A lot of people suspect Miro. A lot of people suspect Sting. They both got sprayed, or with the black mist. But the one guy who hasn't is Darby Allin. So nobody's talking about Darby. But what if he turns heel? What if he does? I'm just throwing the idea out there.
Oh. Yeah.
Miro hasn't exactly turned face yet. So I won't say he's a face until after this match. And if he doesn't fight another heel, we need to see if he can go through the story without, fucking over Darby and Sting. And then as for Sting, yeah, possible that we turn him heel as well, do Darby versus Sting at Full Gear. That is another possibility. And, we have them go their separate ways because I think Sting's contract might be expiring in December. So we might get a short-term heel run and he might just go put over Darby and that's it. That seems very likely. But who knows, guys? I'm going to be giving the win the House of Black. I think this should be very good.
Yeah, for me, I'm hoping that House of Black wins. I think House of Black is still one of my favorites to watch trio, and I would love to see him more in a high tension matches, not like these really boring matches that they have been doing with the Varsity Blondes and others. I'm hoping that House of Black wins. Expectations 8, and I'm hoping for a betrayal by Darby Allin. And that's all for me.
Cool. And now, Berman, I realize what you mean if it's going to be a make or break match, and that's going to be the AEW Interim World Championship match between Tony Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Now, if Tony Storm does not win this match, I'm done. That's it. There's all to say. If Britt Baker, if she fucking wins this match, I swear to God, what is the point of having a women's division? There's literally nothing we can be done about this. I don't think the match is going to be bad, mind you, because there's a lot of great players. But I'm hoping to God she does not win, because that tag team match of her losing gives me somewhat of a hope. So I'm going to give it a 7. And whammon.
Well, Lord, this is not an easy match to predict at all, man. Now, I think all four of them have a chance to win here. I really do. Sheeta looks like she's kind of been on a slight little comeback in her AEW career recently. So she could go on the second run. This run in front of fans, because her whole first year was in front of the barely any fans during the pandemic. You do got Britt Baker. She could become the champ again. And her getting pinned on Wednesday, if you think about it, Chris, if you've watched wrestling for long enough, the person that has less momentum going in usually is the winner going out.
Don't say that.
like think about the final promo between Kenny and Paige, right? Before their match at Full Gear. Kenny beat up Paige. But what happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
And think about this. MJF on the last Dynamite before Sunday, he beat up Punk and with the dog chain and stuff and made him bleed. And what happened? Point being is Britt Baker has a fair chance. Just because she got pinned doesn't mean shit. That's just the sad truth about it. If anything, it made her chances more likely that she could win, considering she put another woman over before potentially gain over herself. You get me?
Oh my god. Oh
Everyone
my
god.
kind of.
You see,
We're gonna fucking
Sheila,
do this again.
You see Sheila? No. Like you see, Sheila got a win, and now Britt gets that win back in return. So both parties win.
Please don't cheat.
And this is what I'm saying. Britt's a possibility. Then you got the fan favorite, Toni Storm. I think is amazing. If we were doing Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa, I think Toni was going to win. She should have won. We can still do that match. But I already said those three women. And I think none of them are going to win. This might be partial fantasy booking coming into play here. But I can see my fantasy booking become reality. So you have Hikaru Shida, right?
Yeah.
She hits. She's fighting Britt Baker in the ring, right? But you have Britt Baker hit her curb stomp finisher on Shida. Britt gets thrown out of the ring by Toni Storm. Storm hits her finisher on top of Shida. And then Storm gets thrown out of the ring by Jamie Hayter. And Hayter steals the win from Toni Storm. And Britt Baker looks on, kind of jealous and kind of pissed. Because her assistant, basically, was the winner and not her. And this is going to be the slow setup to Jamie Hayter becoming a face and a legitimate player in the division and get her away from Britt Baker. That's my prediction, and that's where I think it all goes.
Yeah. For me, I already told everyone, this is my make or break. If either Britt Baker or Hikaru Shida wins it, I'm done with women's division. But if Toni Storm or Jamie Hayter wins, I'm happy and I'm excited for the women's division. This is so big for me because it's a big game changer for me, depending on women's watching it or not watching it. So expectations, it should be great. Should be, I would say, like 8. And for me, I want to see Jamie Hayter win too.
Cool. Now, this next match, I am so fucking excited for. We're gonna get Braun Strowman versus Chris Jericho, the American Dragon versus the Lionheart.
Yep, the best Chris Jericho.
And at this moment, this is gonna be a 10. I fully believe this match is gonna be better than the main event. This match is literally gonna be match of the year. And
what's up? Why do you actually believe all that? I'm not disrespectfully asking. I'm actually curious.
I fully believe because I know damn well the CM Punk versus Jon Moxley match is going to be great. But let's be real, I know damn well who's going to win that belt after that promotion. But this match is going to outshine everything because, quite frankly, these two, What was the last time these guys fought? Like back in WWE,
2010, I
dude.
think.
Dude, it's been like 10+ years.
Let me.
There's
I'm actually gonna look it up just to make
yeah,
sure.
please do. Well, while you're doing that, like literally, these two guys have not fought face to face since the WWE days, and they have proved their craft, and they're gonna be so fucking good with each other.
Okay, actually, it was 2013 on Monday Night Raw, so 9 years.
Still, this match alone is gonna be worth the pay per view. It's gonna be so good, and quite frankly, if well, shit, I forgot his name. I can't. How did I?
Garcia.
Yeah, if Garcia shows
Daniel
up,
Garcia.
there we go. If he shows up and finally joins the Blackpool Combat, this is gonna be even more of an insane thing. Because I feel like Chris Jericho is gonna try to pull some bullshit where he like tries to teach again, and then Garcia's like, "No, there's no honor in wrestling." And then Garcia finds his dad and his Brian. So overall, a 9. No, sorry, a 10. A 10 for this match.
And who you have winning?
Chris Jericho.
Interesting. I have Bryan Danielson. I feel like Bryan Danielson, yes, he did beat Miro, but I feel like we haven't had Bryan Danielson get that massive win in AEW yet. And yes, people complain if you put over people too much, then you lose your relevancy. But let's be real. Chris Jericho's a made man. He doesn't lose shit when he loses. Bryan Danielson, I think, is going to get the dub here. And it'll be thanks to an accidental help from Daniel Garcia to continue the story. And I think we could potentially get these two again at Grand Slam. But yeah, I see Bryan Danielson winning here.
Yeah, for me, this is gonna be probably one of the best matches of the night. 100% a 10 for me expectation wise. I'm going for Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I would do that. Bryan Danielson winning, and I'm looking for either an accidental help or just a legit help from Daniel Garcia to win against Chris Jericho.
All right. So we have interesting opinions. Match of the year, possibly. Match of all lifetime. We'll see. So now we have the Trios Championship match between the Elite versus the Dark Order. Now, Daniel, how could you say that the best friends don't have a chance to beat up the Dark Order on Friday Night Rampage? What makes you think they can't beat the Dark Order on Rampage?
I totally see Orange Cassidy hitting an orange punch and a beach break on Hangman Adam Page to get the win.
All right, fair enough. Okay, let's be real. Hell, the Elite are winning this shit. But
yeah, it doesn't matter who wins on Rampage. The Elite are winning.
The Elite are going to win. However, if this match doesn't lead to Hangman turning heel against the Dark Order and going back to Dark Phase, leading Kenny and the Young Bucks to turn him back to become friends once again, it's going to be a wasted moment. So overall, the match is going to get an 8. It's going to be great no matter what happens.
You see, it's kind of face versus face, though. I don't see Omega and the Bucks as bad guys anymore.
No, not them. I'm referring to maybe Hangman. Maybe this is where we finally get a heel Hangman.
Just he separates from both.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah, so he's basically done with both of them. It was like, you know what? I lost the belt to CM Punk. I have no purpose, and I lost to them yet again. I'm gonna go drink and be an alcoholic again.
Oof. Well, I think it's possible, but I think the Elite are winning. It could be a pretty good match. It could be pretty good. We don't know, man. It's Page, Reynolds, and Silver versus Omega and the Bucks. Hey, it could be pretty good, man.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
See.
Yeah, this match should be very good. Either or, Dark Order wins or the Best Friends win. It should 100% be an 8. Obviously probably Elite. The Elite is going to win. I expect that completely. And if the Dark Order is there, Hangman, I would like to see kind of help. Maybe just throw the Dark Order in the water and join the Elite. Or he maybe just makes his own faction. We haven't seen that a lot of times, but maybe make his own faction to a rival. Or we haven't thought about it too. Maybe he joins the Undisputed Era. We haven't thought about it, but it could be right to me. that maybe he just joins the Undisputed Era after this whole thing. If this is Dark Order, if this is going to be Elite versus Dark Order, he might just turn on the Dark Order and join the Undisputed Elite.
Huh. I didn't even think about that. All right, Bobby Fish, you can leave now. We don't need you anymore.
No main event.
Main event time for the AEW Championship match. Jon Moxley versus CM Punk. This match is going to be great. Now, I don't expect it to be the most perfect thing ever, but it's going to be overall solid. And if I had to predict the winner, it's going to be CM Punk. I don't want him to win, but he needs to win for the story's sakes, because at this rate, Jon Moxley, I liked his run. Well, it's time to give it to the Punk guys. And besides, Punk has many feuds you can start with. Like, hell, if MJF shows up, we could do that whole thing. Or he can elevate some other guys, too, back in the field. Like, there's just a ton of story potential with CM Punk. And if he wins as a heel, dude. Like, I base shit on CM Punk all the time. But I will give him the fact that I like him more as a heel than a face. So please, for the love of God, let this man turn into a heel for this title match. And we get that heel run as CM Punk. And overall,
Now, guys.
a 9.
Now, Chris.
Yo.
What I'm about to say to you is going to be a very unique idea that I thought of.
Okay.
You know how you recently said multiple times you do not want face MJF?
I don't.
I thought about this, right? This is what I think could happen here. Punk is winning. Does he do it clean? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I think MJF does return and he does attack Punk after the match. And I think the show's going to actually end with him attacking Punk in his hometown, raising the title he just won. That seems pretty poetic. And this is my thing. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have Punk kind of show glimpses of being a heel. Like, he's still going to be a face, right? But he's kind of going to show glimpses of being a heel. And then as for MJF's still going to be MJF. But his bitterness isn't going to be exactly against the good guys anymore. It's going to be against more of the higher-ups like Tony Khan and, again, all those kind of people. So what if we don't have a face or a heel? What if we just have two people being human beings who have their flaws, who have their pros? That simple stuff. What if we make it more grounded? That's something I thought about recently. So yes, I have Punk winning. But that's something I've really thought about recently.
That's not wrestling.
Yeah, for me.
Sorry, Brumi.
Yeah, don't worry, it's okay. This can be a great match. I 100% expect it to be 9. Don't get me wrong, I actually want Jon Moxley to win this completely, but because of so much hype, CM Punk probably will win this. It will be really interesting. It should be one of the best matches. And I'm hoping this MJF thing will happen, and maybe it's possible that maybe it's just an anti-hero. He just becomes an anti-hero in general. He's an asshole to everyone, but he's a good guy to the fans. He's just an anti-hero for everyone. It could work for his attitude. But so CM Punk will win. Expectations are 9.
And overall, guys, for this AEW thing, I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. You, Daniel?
7.5. I don't think it's as hype as last year, but I think it'll still be a pretty good show.
I give it an 8.5 for me.
All right. Very long podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you stayed and tuned in. We know a lot of people uploaded and filmed their predictions for both these shows today. So if you tuned in and watched us, we really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe. It really helps reach our names out on this platform. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching this episode. There will be no podcast this week, but we will be doing pay-per-view reviews and Who Is Better episodes sometime next week. So thank you all again so much for watching this longer episode. I've been Daniel.
And Chris again.
And thank you all again. Take it easy.